Hey, everybody, I'm Dr. John Sherk, and it's 11 o'clock Central Time on Wednesday morning, and that means we are here again at Brown Bag Lunch, where I bring you anything I can to, in the span of 5 to 8 minutes, the nuggets and help around improving the lives of air conditioning technicians and creating the environment where they want to work for you and not them and not someone else. So, what I want to talk about today is your actual competition for talent. And I had a conversation this morning that kind of inspired this. Um, when we think of competition, we always think of other companies. We think in terms of, um, if I'm XYZ Mechanical and I want someone to work for me, my competition is ABC Mechanical because they could also work for them. I want to try to change your thinking about this for a minute. Okay, so the real data that's out there, 2024. Then there's some fluctuation on the word what looking means. Gallup is saying about 60% ish. Others are saying more 80% ish. But the best data I've seen says that about 80%, plus or minus a couple percentage points, of US workers are either satisfied or very satisfied with their job. Simultaneously, roughly 80%, plus or minus a couple percentage points, of workers in America say they are open or very open to something else, to working somewhere else. Gallup's number says about half of Americans are actively looking. But what does that mean? They say I repeatedly have clients that panic when they hear this because they think that means my people are leaving. No, it doesn't. It just means who's out there. It's like everybody's dating, nobody's married. All right. So the dynamic that exists now in the workforce in the US, and I know it's very hard to get used to this new concept because we're so used to for decades. I'm hiring, who wants to work here? And that's the whole picture, right? It's not that way anymore. Everybody you want to hire is working somewhere else. So when you put an ad on Indeed, they're going to click apply, but that doesn't mean they want to come to work for you. It just means what you got. I'm curious. Is what you have better than what I have? I'd like to know about that. Might not even take it even if it is better, but I'm looking. Okay. So what does that mean then that your competition is for talent? Your real competition is not another company. It's two things. Number one is doing nothing. Them doing nothing. Them staying with the status quo. And you've heard me talk on this brown bag lunch before that when someone's coming from another job, if the spouse is kind of late to the game in that decision, the spouse will definitely kill this if they can, because unless it is a substantial raise and upward movement, they're going to know the stability that you've got, and is it really worth the risk? And they'll really not be crazy about this idea most of the time. Okay, not in every case, but most of the time. So your job as a recruiter, either formally or just as one of the 20 hats that you wear, you're not competing with what someone else is offering. You're competing primarily with that recruiting prospect status quo, right? And it's not even the sort of features and benefits of their job where they are. It's what problems does that job solve for them? Which problems does it not solve for them? And if you can solve their unsolved problems, does that make it worth it for them to come over here? Things like, are they at the top of their career path where they are, but you've got somewhere for them to go? And especially if them coming to you represents that move, right? And that's a different conversation. These parallel moves, people are just competing for talent with wages. And eventually we price ourselves out of being able to just hire the people that we need, right? So your number one competitor is do nothing. I just want to really embed that in. Please process that. Please factor it into everything you're doing in recruiting. Your job is to compete with that recruit status quo. It is not they're out there looking at multiple companies and they're going to pick one. They're looking, but they may just stay where they are, right? There's the fact that they're looking doesn't mean anything other than the fact that their antenna is up. Do not assume looking means they're leaving and they're going to end up somewhere. The most likely thing that's going to happen is they're going to keep working where they are. Okay. So when you put stuff on Indeed, you need to think in terms of what is the opportunity cost of not acting. You need to learn how to put scarcity into your job offer, saying, we're hiring 2 people by the end of next week. We'd love for you to be one of them, but I need to know. Right? There's a way to make these offers, and you reach out to me. I'll give you some more stuff on this. But for you to be able to effectively recruit and not just get people, you can get 500 applications on Indeed tomorrow. You can, and not hire any of them. Right? You need to know how to compete with do nothing. And that primarily comes from being able to get in touch with the lost opportunity cost. Okay. How do I create movement through scarcity, bonuses, guarantees, the way that you offer the job, right? The job itself has got to be the right job, but then there's other stuff that creates now's the time, and you've got to be able to put your hands around that and get that done. Okay. So try to remember your actual competition for talent is not another mechanical. It's not another company. It's do nothing. And if you build your recruiting message around that, it will set you apart and will push certain buttons no one else is pushing, and will give you a heads up, or give you a step up, a step ahead of the other people recruiting technicians in your market. Okay. All right. I'm Dr. John Sherk. I'd love to get you involved in what we're doing now with helping companies bring AI into their office space. I've got 2 sessions for next week with a few seats left in them. Please reach out below this recording and send us a message, and I'll get you into those. The design of those is you send one person. If they like it, then they can come back and tell you what they thought. Maybe we'll do something for your whole company, but it's a lot to jump from 0 to the whole company thing. So just send a scout and they'll tell you what they think. Okay. That's it. Brown bag lunch. We'll see you next week.